Welcome back. Aurelius and Malik. The Treaty Archive. We close the Maastricht Treaty file today. 5 parts. The end of the story. 3 decades after Maastricht, Europe is still living with its legacy. So, was the treaty a triumph of vision? Or did it set us on a path towards new challenges no one could have predicted? The most visible legacy, of course, is the euro. What started as an audacious idea has now become a daily reality for over 340 million people. We've seen how it shapes economies and daily lives, for better or worse. It's a reminder that history often has a way of surprising us.
The euro is now the world's second most traded currency. But we can't overlook what its introduction really meant. Sure, we got new coins and banknotes, but it also reshaped entire markets and wiped out those pesky exchange rate headaches. Families could travel freely across borders, enjoying new opportunities. But let's be real, this freedom didn't come without its hidden costs. Many lost jobs as industries shifted, and some felt the strain of adjusting to a new economic landscape.
You're right about the ease of travel. Companies really thrived in this vast single market. It was the grand vision laid out by Maastricht, a united Europe with seamless trade. But, let's be honest, it was a gamble. A calculated one, sure, but still fraught with risks. We're talking about different economies, cultures, and political systems trying to mesh together. It was a bold step forward, but like any grand design, it had its flaws and challenges lurking just beneath the surface.
Aurelius, that gamble really exposed some deep cracks in the foundation. The rules laid out in Maastricht were tough to enforce, and when the Eurozone crisis hit in 2009, we saw the vision of unity tested like never before. Countries like Greece and Portugal found themselves in dire straits, struggling under the weight of debt. It wasn't just numbers on a page. Real people were affected, and what was supposed to be solidarity turned into a painful conflict.
The crisis really laid bare the limits of a monetary union that lacks a fiscal union. Some member states had to step in and bail out their neighbors, showing how intertwined we truly are. In a way, it mirrors the behavior of empires throughout history. They always prioritize their core. But that raises an important question for all of us. What does this mean for our sense of European identity? Are we still united, or are we just a collection of self-interested nations?
That's the crux of it, isn't it? Maastricht wasn't just about the euro. It really reshaped the European Parliament, and in theory, that should have given citizens a stronger voice. But did that really translate into real power for everyday people? The perception of a democratic deficit grew. Now, you could see it in the eyes of those who felt left out, disconnected from decisions that impacted their lives. It's hard to ignore the human cost of that disconnect.
Aurelius, the European Parliament certainly gained powers over time. Lawmaking became more transparent and accountable, which was a step towards a more democratic EU. But let's not kid ourselves. Critics had valid concerns. Decisions made in Brussels often felt remote, disconnected from the everyday lives of citizens. We saw this growing divide. People felt like they had little say in matters that affected them directly. It's a classic issue in large governance structures.
That distance really fueled Euroscepticism, especially in Britain. The debates over Maastricht stirred up deep anxieties about national sovereignty. It wasn't just about policies and regulations. It was about how people saw themselves and their country. The UK's choice to leave the EU was a direct response to those very feelings. And now, years later, we're still grappling with the consequences. It's affected lives and communities in ways we're just beginning to understand.
You make a compelling point. The push and pull between unity and independence truly defines the European project. We must also recognize Maastricht's ambitious vision. It wasn't just about economics. It aimed to create a unified voice in global affairs. Through the common foreign and security policy, we see the effort to project power and influence. This is essential if we're to navigate the complexities of international relations, and it reflects how nations adapt and strive for coherence in a diverse landscape.
But that ambition faced some real hurdles. National interests often overshadowed our collective goals, making it tough to reach consensus on international issues. It's like trying to herd cats sometimes. The framework was laid out. Sure. But when it came to execution, it's been uneven at best. You can see the human cost in all this. Families are affected, communities feel the strain, and it's hard to watch people suffer because of these ongoing challenges.
True, the challenges continue. Maastricht didn't just set standards. It laid the groundwork for a more cohesive Europe. By establishing clear benchmarks for democracy, rule of law, and human rights, we guided the historic expansion of the UN. This wasn't merely a political move. It helped heal the deep divisions left by the Cold War and fostered a sense of stability across the continent. We can see the benefits in how nations interact now, striving for unity rather than conflict.
But the journey wasn't smooth at all. Critics have long argued that the EU's democratic deficit really kicked off with Maastricht. Decisions made by technocrats in Brussels often felt miles away from everyday lives. Regular folk started to feel ignored, and that disconnect has only grown wider over the years. You can see it in the frustration at the ballot box, the sense of alienation in communities, and the ongoing tensions that ripple across the continent.
Maastricht stands as a bold experiment in regional integration. It illustrated how diplomacy can bridge even the most entrenched rivalries, reminding us that collaboration is possible. Yet, it also laid bare the stubborn resilience of national interests. As we look at the EU's ongoing struggles, we see echoes of the debates that began with Maastricht. The tensions we observe today are rooted in those early discussions, revealing how difficult it is to balance unity with the pull of national pride.
And that closes the Maastricht Treaty file. 5 parts. One complete story. The full series lives on the Treaty Archive, part of the archive network. There's no shortage of files. Browse what pulls at you next.